What is happening, guys? Lee Burkhardt here with Reef Photo and Video, coming at you with another episode of Hands-On with Reef. So today I have something pretty darn cool to share with you guys. I know many of you guys have been waiting to see this. I know I've certainly been excited to review it. So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the all-new Nauticam NA-A7S III underwater housing, along with the Sony A7S III camera. But before we get started, I have a little show reel just to get you guys pumped up. So on today's episode, we're going to break this video down into two categories for you: housing features and camera features. We'll talk about what we like, what we don't like, additional gear you should consider adding, and more importantly, what kind of benefits this equipment offers for underwater filmmaking. Okay, so let's kick this off by taking a closer look at the NA-A7S III underwater housing. Like nearly all of the Nauticam housings, the ergonomic design and control placement is excellent. Thanks to the ingenious engineering from the folks over at Nauticam, many of the camera controls are rerouted out to the left or right side of the housing, placing essential controls for focus, exposure, and shooting right at your fingertips. From the right handle, controls for things like record triggering, autofocus on, the multi-controller, and the command wheels are all accessible. And from the left handle, controls for playback, menu, custom function keys, and the zoom focus knob are all accessible. Now, the camera installation and assembly really couldn't get any easier on this. In fact, you can build the entire system in just a couple minutes. Simply unlock the rear housing latches, remove the camera tray, attach the tray to the camera, place the assembled camera and tray back into the housing, and then lock the rear housing latches back into place. Attaching ports is also made easy, thanks to Nauticam's patented port locking lever. Simply move the port locking lever to the release position, align the dot on the port to the dot on the housing, push the port into place, and then move the port locking lever back into the lock position. As for your lens choices, the housing is built around Nauticam's N100 port mount, so you have the entire Sony E-mount line of lenses to choose from, with solid choices on everything from wide angle to macro. Full zoom and focus support for all of these lenses, by the way, are provided by Nauticam's gearing, with a dedicated knob located along the left side of the housing for precise adjustments to both focus and zoom underwater. The housing is also compatible with a wide range of Nauticam's water contact optics. The SMC1 and SMC2 make excellent choices for all of you super macro imaging fans, and are among our top recommendations due to the superb image quality, contrast, and color that they provide. Nauticam's WACP and WACP2 are also great additions, as they provide incredible image quality and sharpness, and when paired with the right lens, can provide a very versatile option for capturing wide, medium, and close-up shots all during the same dive. We have several articles and videos available on all these optics, and I've included links to all of this content in the video description below for you all to check out. Nauticam's moisture alarm electronics are included, by the way, along with their vacuum electronics system. Now you have to purchase the vacuum valve separately to utilize this, but we highly recommend it as it provides some peace of mind that you've assembled the entire kit properly and it's safe to dive before you enter the water. The housing features 5mm and 10mm threaded mounting points for attaching a variety of additional accessories. There's also a tripod ball mount set that's available, and it's perfect for attaching ball mount arms to be used as tripod legs. Nauticam includes an M24 bulkhead opening for routing an HDMI connection for external monitors, such as the SmallHD 502 Bright or the Atomos Ninja 5. Both of these monitors make a great addition for any underwater video shooters, as they provide a larger, brighter 5-inch screen for viewing, and they're absolutely loaded with all kinds of assist tools, such as focus peaking, false color, waveforms, and many more that make your job underwater so much easier. The Ninja 5 also offers ProRes RAW external recording options at up to 4K at 60 frames per second, and in our opinion is the stronger monitor choice because of this. Now we put together a series of videos on both of these monitors that discuss all of their features in more detail, so be sure to check those out in the links below. As you can see with all of these options, the housing is incredibly versatile. It can easily be configured into a lightweight, compact form factor, perfect for something like a pull camera for freediving applications where you want less drag in the water. Or for a more built-out rig, complete with things like an external monitor, tripods, and video lighting. So now on to the A7S III camera. Let me just start off by saying that we think this is an excellent 4K camera choice for underwater filmmaking. Sony has really stepped up their game here, and we're seeing some big changes over frustrations that many of us had experienced with the previous A7S models. It's almost like Sony's been listening to their customers. With this new A7S III model, we're seeing big improvements in categories such as autofocus, more recording options, higher frame rates, battery life, and more importantly, color accuracy and white balance. For starters, the camera is built around a full-frame 12-megapixel CMOS sensor paired with a Bionz XR image processor that allows 4K recording at up to 120 frames per second in 10-bit 422 color, all of which is recorded internally, and without any heating issues, I might add. Raw video output over HDMI is also supported, and currently with external recording devices like the Atomos Ninja 5, allows full 4K ProRes RAW recording at up to 60 frames per second. In addition, you have an astonishing 759 autofocus points, all utilizing Sony's phase detection technology, along with dual card slots, 5.5 stop in-body image stabilization, 15 stops of dynamic range with S-Log2 and S-Log3, and like previous A7 models, absolutely amazing low-light performance, with an ISO sensitivity range from 40 to 409,600. Now stack all of those features up, and then consider the size of this compared to other video hybrid camera housing combos in the market, and not only do you have yourself a really compact, lightweight video rig, but also one with an incredible value considering the $3,500 price tag of the camera. Now all of this looks great on paper, of course, but how does it actually measure up in terms of underwater filmmaking? Truth be told, really well actually. The ability to record in ProRes RAW externally is perhaps one of the most interesting new features, as this allows a significant amount of flexibility for changes to both color and exposure in post-production. Here you can see some examples of raw ungraded footage, and the same footage once it's been color graded in post. Even over or underexposed footage, or footage captured in less than ideal water conditions can easily be fixed in post-production. Now, ProRes RAW is an excellent codec to work with, and with the right computer hardware provides significantly faster render times and performance compared to other formats. It's also natively supported in popular editing programs such as Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro, It is important to note, however, that it's not currently supported in DaVinci Resolve. We're hoping to see this change sometime in the near future, but for right now, Blackmagic seems to be stuck on promoting their Blackmagic RAW or B-RAW instead. With the variable frame rate recording options at 4K, you have lots of creative flexibility for capturing slow motion playback of cool behavior shots. And an excellent tool to help with stabilization and camera shake. Steady, smooth handheld footage is easily achievable. Now, another wonderful feature of the camera is its custom function buttons. Nearly all of the buttons on the camera can be custom key mapped to a wide variety of camera controls for things like autofocus, white balance, ISO, and many more. This is a great feature in the sense that you can reroute specific controls exactly to where you want on the housing and camera. Now, a camera's ability to easily achieve a manual white balance while underwater is a crucial feature for many underwater filmmakers in order to capture accurate color. Historically, Sony has always struggled with this. Many of us using the A7S II, for example, often got frustrated trying to do a manual white balance, as it would error out at depths beyond 25 feet or so. In addition, we often found the camera produced a rather ugly magenta color to the water. Thanks to some serious improvements from Sony, these frustrations are now gone. The watercolor appears much more natural and vibrant straight out of the camera, and the A7S III can perform a manual white balance at depth with ease, and in fact in just 3 simple steps. Simply assign any of the custom function keys to white balance, press the custom function key, scroll over and select the Set button, fill the square with your gray card, and boom, you're done. The Kelvin temperature range is capped at 10,000 Kelvin, so it's not quite as good as the range found on some other cameras from the likes of Canon or Zcam, for example. So we do recommend using a red color correction filter for any ambient light shooting. Good options include Keldon or Magic Filter. More information on those filters can be found in the link below. Now, you will lose 1 to 2 stops of light with these red filters. However, it's not a deal breaker for this particular camera due to the excellent low light performance, which brings us on to our next topic. The low light sensitivity on this camera, guys, is simply amazing. As I said earlier, the camera can practically see in the dark, as you can see here. The camera also features dual gain ISO. Now, I could babble on about this technology for an entire video, but the important thing to understand is that the camera allows you to choose between both a low and high base ISO setting, with hardly any noticeable difference in digital noise. The low-high ISO settings when shooting with a standard picture profile are set at ISO 80 and ISO 2000, and when shooting with S-Log2 or S-Log3 picture profiles, these ISOs are set at 640 and 12,800. Here you can see an example of footage shot in an S-Log3 profile, jumping from ISO 10,000 to the high base ISO setting of 12,800, and a very noticeable improvement in digital noise when hitting the high base ISO setting. The important takeaway here is that it's important to keep those low-high base ISO settings in mind when filming and stay as close to them as possible. The camera features dual card slots that accept both UHS-2 SD cards and the new CF Express Type A media cards for extended storage and record times. Now, you also have options for dual recording to both cards simultaneously, so that you always have a backup of your footage in the event one media card fails. In addition, you can externally record to devices like the Ninja 5 while still recording to the SD card slots, giving you the option of having one ProRes RAW file from the recorder and one H.265 10-bit 422 file on the SD card. For powering the camera, the A7S III accepts Sony's NP-FC100 batteries. To give you guys some real-world examples, I was able to get 2 long 1-hour dives, recording at 4K 60 ProRes RAW, compared to barely 1 using the older batteries found in the A7S II. Now, the contrast detection autofocus found on the older A7S II models was frankly pretty terrible, and in most cases fairly unreliable, so many of us shooting with those cameras had to use manual focus only. Luckily, Sony has made some big improvements in this department too, with their hybrid phase detection autofocus technology. Here you can see an example shot in my home studio, using a standard kit lens. The camera can accurately track and maintain focus without any focus hunting. Underwater, it actually works really well too, and provides some really unique opportunities for filming subjects that might otherwise be really difficult to capture using manual focus only. In addition, you also have options to fine-tune the control of the autofocus, such as how quickly it achieves autofocus and the subject sensitivity. This equipment is perhaps one of the best 4K RAW capable camera housing combos we've seen to date, with a price tag that offers an incredible value that's well below the competition. And I hope today's video has been useful for any of you considering picking this gear up from us. Now, if you liked today's video, you'd like to see more content like this from us, or if you're just curious in learning more about underwater imaging, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons found just below the video here. Of course, feel free to leave any questions in the comments section below, or just contact our Reef Photo staff directly. And to check out more of our knowledge-based articles and other content, you can visit us directly at www.reefphoto.com and just click on the Learn tab found along the top of the homepage. Well, I think that's going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more cool videos to come soon, and we'll see you on the next one.